Welcome to Easy Email Marketing. I'm your host, Alyona, mum, FIFO wife, MBA, coffee lover, survivor superfan, and creator of the email experience. In Easy Email Marketing, you'll benefit from my nearly 20 years experience, where I'll be teaching you all the tips, tricks, and insider info on how to create feel-good, non-spammy experiences for your subscribers. Let's get stuck in. Welcome back to the Easy Email Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Alyona, and today's episode is for you if you are struggling with your email list growth. This is something I see all of the time, and especially, with my email experience students, I see them creating amazing email automations, showing up for their list consistently with great, impactful emails and, sending out their offers. But they struggle to get that list growth, and list growth and fresh leads is essential to your business growth, to your sales growth, and it is a core part of your email marketing strategy. But it also means we need to step out of the bubble and the world of email marketing to start growing our email lists. And one of the best ways that you can do this, especially if you do not want to pay for ads, is using social media. And I will be the first to admit, I am not the biggest social media fan. The idea of putting myself out there on a public platform like that is daunting. And to do it consistently is a struggle. And I've had to create ways in which I make sure I'm more consistent. And I do talk about this a bit more in the episode. But one of the newest and most exciting ways we can be discovered by new audiences and then convert them to subscribers is through Instagram Reels, which of course can be scary. And frankly, sometimes it doesn't feel worth all of that effort we put in. I've had many a time, where I spent ages creating this amazing reel that I think is, right on point, and that I think, people will be talking about. I'll be getting the comments, people will be clicking through, and then I only get like 10 likes. It is very frustrating. So that's why I'm very excited to bring on our next guest, Ally from Alyona Social. Ally is your go-to Instagram and Reels coach to help you monetize on Instagram with the power of Reels and strategic content that brings hot leads and new sales in your sleep. Inside today's episode, we talk about what Instagram Reels have to do with email marketing, how to create your own sales funnels within Instagram, the Reels that get that magic combination of views and people taking action, how to create Reels that feel true to who you are, how to get started even if you are completely petrified. I learned so much through talking with Ally, and I know you'll come away from this episode with a fresh perspective on this amazing email list growth tool. So without further ado, let's get stuck in to my chat with Ally. Ally, welcome to the Easy Email Marketing Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Elle.
So great to have you here. And I would love to get straight to the point, if you don't mind, because, that's kind of my style. You are here to talk about Instagram Reels, and this is a podcast about email marketing. So, of course, I have my own thoughts about how social media and email marketing work together. I'm definitely not anti, despite some of my comments and comparisons, but I would love to hear from you. What on earth do Instagram Reels have to do with email marketing?
That's a very good question. I'm so glad that you asked it. And I believe the main connection between Reels and email marketing is that Reels can be an amazing source of lead generation. There are so many ways how you can utilize Reels to collect emails that you can later obviously use in your email campaigns. And I do it every day. Every week I post a couple of Reels that do that, and I just grow my email list nonstop, and it works wonders.
Okay. So yeah, definitely my listeners want to know all about this because when I talk to especially people inside my program, they get so stuck on this, okay, so I've got, my lead magnet, and we can talk more about those concepts as we go through. But how do I get people to actually sign up? How do I get people to find me to know that I exist? And that's sort of that pre-marketing, that's a higher level. And that's how I believe social media, one of the ways social media and email marketing work together. It's one is just higher up in that sales funnel, if you want to talk about it in those terms, than the other. And this is just about narrowing down those leads. But perhaps we can get into the nitty-gritty there a little bit about maybe a couple of practical examples about how you are using Reels to help get those leads. Because you're saying, a few a week, which, or more, I don't know your numbers, but, that is actually really challenging. Especially if you're talking to what feels like probably the same audience. So definitely you have to be getting in front of more people. So anything about list building and lead generation without having to spend money, people, love to know. So give us the goods.
Absolutely. You mentioned sales funnels, and I believe that Instagram can be and can have amazing sales funnels inside it. And so Reels being the widest part of the funnel, because we post Reels mostly for the cold audience, for people who don't know us yet, because Reels have better reach. Comparing to, for example, stories, that we post stories for people who already follow us to warm up our audience and to just get those hot leads who are ready to work with us. While Reels, because Instagram shows them to new people, are still, I believe, number one organic source of growth on Instagram. Yes, everyone noticed that this year Instagram's focus shifted a little bit from Reels to static content, because a lot of people said, well, wait a second, we came to Instagram because we love posting photos. What this DJ thing came from. But still, even with my Reels, a couple of days ago, one of my Reels went mildly viral, got a couple of dozen thousand views. So it's still working, it's still there. And as I said, we use Reels to attract cold audience. Yes, Reels might be a little bit time consuming, but again, we can talk later about how to save time doing Reels. But they attract hundreds of people. Even for example, even if your Reel got 300 views, that probably means that around 150 people that saw that Reel, people who already follow you, but 150 are completely new people. And so this is why I love utilize Reels to collect emails, because the easiest way would be, for example, to talk about a problem that your lead magnet is about. For example, for me, my lead magnet is all about speaking on Reels, how to structure Reels and how to save time when you record your little expert Reels or speaking Reels. This is the Reels where you actually look on the camera and talk about your offers or problems or solutions or something that you offer to your audience. And then in the end, you say, for example, DM me hook if you want to find out more. And then the person oh yeah, I'd love to find out more. Then they DM me hook or whatever word is suitable for your industry. And then you send them a link to your lead magnet. Okay, or for example,
so you'd recommend going to buy a DM first rather than just saying go to link in bio.
Yes, I believe it's way better than follow kind of funneling people to your bio, for a few reasons. First, it starts a conversation in a DM, and then you can later talk about different things and warm up this person even more. So it's kind of invitation to your DMs, which is another level, next level from your bio. Then you can also have more control around the situation. You can follow up in a couple of days, say, hey, did you have a time to check my lead magnet? Or for example, it's not something that a lot of people hate cold DMing, when you get those DMs, people offering you services, but you didn't even have a conversation before
or they
that.
just followed you and it's hey, thank you for following.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't like those sleazy tactics. We want genuine connection. And by inviting people to your DMs, when people take this first step of actually going to your DMs and DMing you first, sending you a message first, they actually give you permission to DMing them, to offer them your services, because they made this first step. You didn't force them, or you didn't slide in their DMs unannounced.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Love that. Okay, so posting a reel, and we can talk about the content there in a minute. But using some sort or around, a tip or something related to your lead magnet, and then asking them to DM you with some sort of one word, and then you just start the conversation there and you send the link, and you've got someone hopefully you can keep conversing with. Awesome. Okay, I love that. I haven't tried that strategy, so that's something I'll add in.
A similar tactic, if you're not comfortable with asking people to DM you yet, although I do recommend doing it. I get DMs like that all the time, and those literally just boost passive sales, is because I do it with my masterclass, with the low tickets offer that I do, and it works all the time. Another way, what you can do is just ask people to leave a comment. Leave a comment if you want me to send you more details, for example. And then if they leave the comment, they again kind of give you permission to slide in their DM. So it's always important to get those yes from a person. So those little permissions. And another thing, if you keep DMing with a person, then they will see your stories first. So if you have an active conversation with someone in the DMs, when they open their Instagram feeds, your stories will pop up as one of their first ones. So that's another reason why it's so good to invite people to DMs and keep those conversations going there, because you will be able to showcase your services, products, or whatever in front of them through stories as well, because they will see them first and they will spend more time looking at what you have to offer.
Okay. Awesome. Really cool. Okay. I love that. Okay, so when it comes to what we're putting in our reels, there are definitely some sort of trends I've noticed on my own thing, and I'm definitely no expert. I definitely just kind of play a little bit with what I like to create. And I did a bit of a look at just my views and my stats before we sat down to chat, and I have noticed that definitely the ones that get the most views are those funny, trendy ones that are following some sort of audio that is going right now. And maybe it's just like something sort of snappy one-liner. They're not really that meaty, content. And they while they get the views, I find, the people watching them, I'm like, they don't seem like my right person. There might be a percentage, obviously there'll be a percentage that is, especially the ones that are already my audience, but it's like, okay, I'm not sure if this is quite the right people, and then therefore that's not naturally going to convert to followers or to people getting on to my list. Then on the opposite end of the spectrum, I've got my direct call to action ones. So it's like the doors opening, or join my masterclass. Then they get significantly less. And then in between is probably, sort of those tips-based ones. Sometimes you add some trending audio, and sometimes they're the speaking to camera, and they kind of sit somewhere in the middle. And they're probably a nice sweet spot. But again, sometimes it feels like they're a lot of effort to create, and you're like, but not many people are even seeing it. So how do we balance all of this? How do we go balancing the reels that are getting the views, and then the ones that are actually getting traction, or the ones that actually talk about, what you want someone to do next?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. And I can talk about it, I think, for hours. So stop me whenever.
Okay.
There is definitely, it is important to balance different formats of reels. And it is important to understand that reels are actually a long-term game. So we don't want to get, and a lot of people do this mistake, that want this instant gratification from reels in the form of views, in the form of likes, in the form of new follows, in the form of going viral, which is great, good bonus, but shouldn't be our main priority. I see the same thing that you described with my reels. Whenever I post, sometimes I do post some funny meme reels, like, when you have half of the reel of you and then half of the reel some scene of a movie or something like a sort of a video meme thing. I love those. I prefer those to trending audio and lip syncing and all that.
Why is that? Or just you personally?
Just first, I don't like lip syncing, and I tried it a few times when I was just starting, and then I very quickly realized it is not my thing. And last year I was all about transitions and all that. So yeah, I almost never did lip syncing because I just didn't feel didn't feel right
and I love
to
that
me.
because you get to choose, you get to choose your vibe. No, I was just curious if there was like some sort of strategy reason, but if it's just, what you like.
No, it's just like, it feels more authentic to me, I guess. And I do feel way more rich on those reels, and even in terms of comments and likes and all that, even sometimes with shares as well. Shares are a very important indicator of the success of your reel. But then obviously you can't post those all the time. And another thing, like, I believe that you need to post entertaining reels only if they feel like truly aligned to you. Only if you watch this reel yourself and it cracks you up every time, like you watched yourself thousands time just doing a quote from, I don't know, Office, and you're like, oh my God, this is a masterpiece, so good. So in this case, yes, full permission granted to do whatever lip syncing trend you want. But when it is actually for the sake of a trend, for the sake of views, for the sake of, everyone's jumping and then I have to jump on it, but I have no idea where it is even coming from, this trend. So that is a big no for me, because it won't bring any value to you. Well, if you post entertaining content that is really aligned to you, there is a big chance that it will attract audience that shares the same value, the same sense of humor, the same personality traits as you. So it's a good thing.
Okay.
When it comes to reels that are, quote unquote, salesy, whatever you call them, when you promote you, when you're in the active state of launch and everything, you just need to, again, be mentally ready. Yeah, those reels won't bring you much exposure, won't bring more views, won't bring much. And like, even my story views, whenever I'm in the launch phase, they drop, which is, again, absolutely fine. Big creators as well talk about it all the time, but we don't actually want cold audience to see those, because they're unlikely to make a decision to buy straight away when they see this type of content, when we actively sell. It is for the people who already follow you, and these people most likely will see this type of content. So because people make a decision to buy from us, not when they see that we post about our offer, but they make a decision to buy from us like months ago or weeks ago, days ago, when we're consistently posting and they're warming up to you. So it is fine if your salesy reels or stories or something don't get too much exposure, because it's not their purpose to actually attract broad audience.
Yes, love it. Everything has, and I talk about this with emails too, that it's like each email has a different intention. Yeah, of course, the ones that are like click through to download my thing are going to get more clicks than click to buy my thing. It is just, common sense in terms of, you just need to go into, okay, what's my intention behind this particular post or this particular email? And therefore, what's the important metric that I'm looking at associated with it? So I'm not comparing across the two. So I love that. Okay. So, so when it comes to these lead generation list bidding ones, what's the balance? Where do we find that sweet spot?
Yeah. Sweet spot. It depends on your time capacity. It depends on your availability. I'm all for example, posting a few times a week. For example, I'm all for posting on stories every day, even if it's just 1 or 2 stories about, I don't know, your plan for the day or something, or just a repost of some piece of content that you did. Maybe even the other week, recycling is good, but just always be visible. And when it comes to your feed, it's always depends on, I post at the moment, I'm doing this crazy thing to not repeat it at home, like 100 reels in 100 days.
Wow.
A bit regretting this decision right now. I'm in about doing reels 43 or something. But then again, it's just I'm trying different formats and see for myself. It's not done yet. So I'm not ready to receive any congratulations yet, too early. But it's just for me to test different formats and to keep me accountable in terms of what works, what not, so that I can teach my clients. But obviously, I don't recommend you. I mean, I don't. It's not because people sometimes it scares people off, like, oh my god, but I'm not ready to post that much, and I completely understand. But like, just whenever you post, whatever you're posting, just I'd say if you post, for example, 3 reels a day, make 1 reel, like a speak on camera and do something like giving value, educational, 1 reel just full on sell, and 1 reel try to add some entertainment or talk about your day or talk about your personality. So really rule of thirds would probably be a sweet spot in here. Giving value, selling, and showing your personality, because it's really important to build those connections.
Okay, so bit of both, a bit of everything. Okay. So I know definitely a ton of my listeners are petrified about the idea of reels. What advice would you give to them about, getting started, or what are good types of reels to get started with? And thankfully, you're not going to tell them they need to do any lip syncing.
No, yes.
Or dancing or whatever else they say.
No, the pointing thing.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying like a definite no to anything. If that's your thing, if you're a dancer, go dance. So there is no like, oh, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. So it all depends. As long as it feels good to you, as long as you're not forcing it, that's good. When it comes to where to start and how to save time, I always suggest 2 things. First, have a bank of ideas on your phone. So I have it in my notes. It just says Reels ideas, and whatever I think about something just in the middle of the day, or while I'm having a shower, while I'm falling asleep, or something about my business, I'm like, oh, that could be an interesting thing. Just write it down. So that way, when you sit down and like, okay, I need to create content, what do I do? Mm-hmm. You already have something written in your notes. That seems like a very simple tip, might be obvious, but actually for me, it was a big lifesaver and time saver, because when you think that you would remember something, you actually wouldn't, and you will forget, and you will just stare at the blank, whatever Word document or something, and would have no idea what to do when this creation day comes. The second thing is to have a bank of content on your phone. So that is just record little snippets of you or little snippets of your life whenever you have time that you can later use for your reels. So for example, even now, we're recording this podcast and I have my phone on a tripod in front of me so that I can reuse and repurpose that if I want, or if I'm going to be out of the content in so many ways. I can first get little snippets of me talking about a certain point and post them as reels, as speaking reels. I can, for example, mute the video and put some text over it. I can speed it up and make a little sort of like a time-lapse video of me speaking and just moving my hands a lot and doing all those things, drinking my tea. I can, for example, use it for stories as well to, again, put some text or just showcase something. There are just so many ways how this type of content can be used. And so just try to always, the good thing about Instagram and the Reels right now is a big tendency to simplify things.
Yeah.
So 2021 was all about, I think, lip syncing and dancing and pointing, those TikTok trends. 2022 was a big year of transitions. So I even had a course, still have it on creative editing. So it's all those changing of clothes, changing of colors, bouncing of the walls, clones and all that. So that was all 2022. And 2023 is a big B-roll, behind the scenes, super easy stuff when it comes to Reels. So record yourself sitting at your desk and looking at your screen, or record yourself working, or just doing something from walking the dog, from walking in the park to just really, cleaning your apartment, anything, and use that as a as the main video, short snippets of your day, of your videos. So for your reels, that I do it all the time.
Okay. I love that because it does make it sound easier. It's just kind of trying to get into that frame of mind of going, okay, oh yeah, crap, I need to set up my phone there. I need to actually record myself doing this. And I definitely found that when I did my photo shoot, I was like, okay, get someone here to record me.
Yeah. Photo shoots are amazing. You can have like literally reels done for, I don't know, 4 months during photo shoots. So it's always as well a good idea to like hire someone to even do the videos and all that behind the scenes, because it's so good. Like you'll have unlimited source of videos from that.
Okay. So that's great. Just having something with some music, some words or some tips on the actual reel itself with the B-roll. And then I guess a lot of it comes down to the caption as well.
Exactly. A caption and a sales funnel, right? So where would you send? So as you mentioned as well, a very good point. Every piece of your content has to have a clear goal. Mm-hmm. Every reel has to have a clear goal. So posting for the sake of posting doesn't work and never worked. And so just always think, okay, so I want people to sign up for my mail list. I want them to download that. I want them to DM me. I want them to, even if you want them to send them to your bio or to read the caption or to buy a low ticket product, anything. So just before creating a reel, think about what is the goal, and then it just will make things easier. So kind of start from the end. So first think of a goal, what you want to promote, and then think of the body and the beginning of everything. So how you're going to promote it.
Especially after those promotions and those helpful building ones. And then I guess, the engaging fun ones are just the ones that you're seeing. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I love that. and in the mix. Okay, awesome. That's so much goodness in here. I'm definitely think I'm going to have to listen back or at least read the transcript on a few of these things, because there's a lot of just like little gold nuggets in there that I love. If I was just to wrap up, with one thing about reels that you wish everyone would know, what would it be?
I wish everyone was treating reels not as this uninspired obligation, but actually as such an important and amazing and free marketing tool that is available for us. And we can use every day absolutely for free to build our businesses, to grow our audiences, to make money online, and change the mindset towards reels. Not like, again, I don't know what to post, to, that actually will bring me money if I will be consistent with that. Just like emails, just like my website, just like the photo shoot, just like whatever, every single thing of the business. But Instagram, I just wish more people would treat Instagram as this amazing, powerful source, not like something that they have to do in the end of their to-do list. And that will change everything for the way you show up and the results that your Instagram and Reels bring to you.
Oh, love it. Okay. And definitely feel like you're speaking a little bit to me sometimes, because it's just like, it sometimes feels that obligation, because it's definitely, obviously email's my thing where I love to be. But Instagram, I definitely have been playing, and I definitely have got some help, because I know personally, just getting that consistency is about, creating some accountability. And sometimes that means hiring someone to help you do some things, or actually post the things, or do some editing, or do some basic stuff. I know that's not available to everyone, but for me, honestly, I found that's the biggest difference from going from not posting at all, barely, or just going, I have to do something, to actually being fairly consistent. So that's been a big shift for me. And now it's about, how do we add in that strategic layer? So thank you so much for all of that. So, how can people learn more about this wonderful world of reels from you? If they really want to get stuck in, share all your goodies with us.
Absolutely. Well, you can find me at Alyona.social on Instagram. I believe there will be a link in the show notes. And I would love you all to have a look at my new guide about speaking on Reels, how to save as much time and create like 2 months worth of speaking Reels content in a couple of hours. And you can do it by downloading that guide as well through the link in the show notes. And we also chatted today about sales funnels, and I showed you one way how you can funnel people into your DMs from Reels. And I have like a masterclass, pre-recorded masterclass, where I talk about 5 more ways how to use Reels as sales funnels that bring me leads every day, that book me discovery calls every day while I'm doing my thing and just not even looking at my phone. And this is all in my Simple Sellout Reels Masterclass. And there'll also be a link in the show notes for that.
Yes,
but also my DMs are always open. If you have any questions, just drop me a DM and I'd love to have a chat with you all.
Yep. And yeah, just give her a follow as well and get inspired by your 100 Reels that you'll be creating every day. Okay, awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Those will be all in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a really good time.
Thank you so much, Ally, for sharing all your Instagram Reels insights and practical tips with us. I'm certainly excited to start trying a few new things, and we'll definitely be giving some more speak to camera style Reels a go. So listeners, you can hold me accountable to that. So if you want to connect with Ally, you can find her on Instagram over at Alyona Social. That's ALYONA.social, or on her website, alyonasocial.com. The links are in the show notes, as well as a direct link to her speaking Reels guide and her Simple Sell Out Reels masterclass. So make sure to check all of that out. I would love to hear from you about what you've enjoyed most from this episode, so make sure to DM me over on Instagram as well. I am at Yael Keown. And if you like this guest interview format, please let me know who you'd like to hear from or what you'd like to know more about. I'm definitely happy to add a few more interviews to the mix. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Easy Email Marketing. It's an absolute honour that you chose to listen. If you love this episode, then it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review so that others can find this podcast and make their email marketing easy too. Finally, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss a thing. Until next time, have an awesome day and make sure to keep showing up and serving in those inboxes.